Hello there, my name's Nate, as you no doubt know, and I'd like to tell you about the time I almost went to a 1975 concert. As I record this, it is April 30th, 2019. The concert was last Monday, so a lot of what happened was very fresh in my mind, and so this will pretty much be a ramble. I'll ramble for a bit, but I'll try to keep it as concise as possible because, I don't know, just a lot of weird feelings happened yet last week that I wanted to tell you guys about. A couple things. First of all, for those of you who don't know, I am on the spectrum, and I tell you this because of just anxiety. I suffer from anxiety and bit of depression as well. So there's a lot going on with me personally that I think affected what happened, what I did there. On the more informational side, for those of you who don't know who the 1975 are, the 1975 are a British pop group. They've been around since, well, for a long time. Their first album came out in 2013, I think, so they have been recording for 6 or 7 years now. And they've had 3 albums. At the time of recording this, they have 3 albums. The 1975, I Like It When You Sleep, For You're So Beautiful Yet So Unaware of It, and A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships. This is I Like It When You Sleep. That's the whole album title there. And then this is A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships. I don't have their first album because I'm waiting to get the deluxe CD version that has their initial EPs. They did a lot of EPs with EP-only tracks on it, so I'm looking forward to just getting a copy of that. And apparently later this year they're supposed to have a 4th album coming out called Notes on a Conditional Form. Though at this point I can't really listen to their stuff right now. It's a little too frustrating. So yeah, they're really popular in the UK. Over here in the States, there's a lot of fans, but a lot of my friends have never heard of them. Few people have here and there, but yeah. So I first heard their song "Love Me" on the radio, and I was like, I never heard of these guys before. I'm like, sound kind of fun and funky kind of song. Reminds me a lot of David Bowie's Fame or something like that. Very kind of funk and all that, fun funk song, but lyrically also very complex and very sneery and snobby and all that. I'm like, okay, I like it. So I heard a couple more of their songs, listened to their albums, and I'm like, okay, I kind of dig their vibe and all that. So I bought the album, bought this one, and I liked it enough. So then I heard they were doing a 3rd album. I'm like, okay, cool. This is pretty good too. I was like, so I told myself, if they ever come to Sacramento or somewhere in California, I'll go see them. Especially Northern California. Sure enough, January or so, I found out they were coming to. They were doing a new tour, and for a long time they didn't post any California dates, and so which I took to believe that they were only playing Coachella, because there was a week in April that they had blocked out, and I figured that's usually when Coachella plays. So I'm like, okay, they're just gonna play Coachella and leave, like complete dickheads, But so yeah, I just was waiting, and sure enough, but then suddenly I see San Francisco, April 22nd. Bill Graham Civic Auditorium. I'm like, okay, I'll go by. So I bought tickets. They were like $75 a piece. They're all general admission too. So I was like, okay. So I bought the tickets, and then about a week or 2 later, I find out the concert sells out. And I'm like, oh shit. To the point where the demand is so high that they end up needing to add a second date. The day after, April 23rd. And as far as I know, that show never sold out. because I guess everybody already bought their tickets to the 22nd show. So yeah, I sat on the tickets and I just waited and waited, and for a long time there was something inside of me that said that this was a mistake, that I wouldn't have a good time, and that I should just, like, there was a part of me that said I shouldn't go, and a lot of that was because of the fact that a lot of their fan base are very young. A lot of girls like them because they're 4 relatively attractive British dudes, and so yeah, they're kind of, and lyrically they're not like any other pop group, so a lot of people are like, oh god, they're so intelligent, you know. I just like them because musically they're interesting, you know, and musically and lyrically they're interesting, you know. But yeah, I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna be the oldest guy there, you know. So I was like, maybe I should just stay home. Ministry were playing the same night, and I thought, okay, maybe I'll just buy Ministry tickets. And but I think, no, I've already spent enough money on 1975. I'm gonna go see them. So let's flash forward to the day of the concert. So I live in Sacramento. I had to take the bus up. I bought a mega bus up to station, and I got on, and the whole time I was listening to their music. I got through their first album, basically, halfway through most of the bus. And I got their second album, and I got about halfway through the second album when I got off the bus. And by the time I got off the bus, I was almost through the second album. And I like to do that sometimes when I'm heading to a concert. I like to try and bone up on my, on their music, the time before. When I just recently saw Joe Jackson, and I went through and listened to all his albums again. Not that I didn't know what he'd be playing, but because of the majority of his discography he didn't play, but still, just to kind of get yourself psyched up, So I got there, and I was walking around, and I got some food because I knew I'd be coming late, because I took a bus, like a 3 o'clock bus, which was my first big mistake. My first big mistake was buying the tickets in the first place. Second big mistake was buying a ticket for later than like 9 a.m. or something like that. So anyway, I buy, I get some food, I get some snacks from the Walgreens nearby, and because originally, I was going to the concert and I was going to take a red-eye Greyhound home, like at 12:50 in the morning, because that's the latest, between the concert that I would be able to go. And so I go and get the food and get prepared, and I find the Civic Auditorium. I'm like looking for the entrance, and I'm walking around the station, and in fact, I'm going to pull up a map of the Bill Graham Civic Auditorium to show you where I went here, because because this needs to be seen for itself here. So there's City Hall, there's the Bill Graham's. Okay, so let's see. So I was right. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that all right? Yeah. Okay. So I was about here. I think here's where the you can't even see. Yeah, I was right there where the Walgreens was, and so I came up here and up. Yeah, and here's, so here, right here is the Civic Auditorium, and this corner right here is where I turned and looked, and I saw a huge line, pretty big line, the gates and all that, and I asked the guy up there, hey, where's the start of the line? And he said, oh, it's across the street, man. And I look across the street, and I see a line about pretty much the whole length of the sidewalk. People just parked on the sidewalk. And I'm like, oh, shit. So, So I don't know if you can still see that, but so I look and I'm like right here, no, right here, and it's like all the way down here, and I'm like, okay, so I figured, okay, it wraps around here, and then line starts here, because I'm walking down there, and I see a sign that says general admission starts here. I'm like, okay, so I get in line, and the girls in front of me give me a puzzled look, and then another couple comes up. Is this where the start of the line is? And then I tell them, like, yeah, I think so. She's like, no, actually, this is the start of the line. I misunderstood. I thought she meant, like, this is where the end of the line is. But no, it's the start. So from there, it wraps all the way around to right about where I got in was across the street from City Hall. It was right here. I'm sorry, I'm backwards. So it wraps around all the way. So I followed a huge line of 20-year-old girls and just girls wearing the shirts and all that. And I counted about maybe 50 men in the whole line. And I only counted maybe 2 black dudes. Two black people, period. And maybe like 3 or 4 older. I'm 29, and so maybe like 3 or 4 people in their late 30s, early 40s, parents or something like that, attending, with their kids and all that. But and I got some footage of the video, which can't really show because, again, the glare and all that. But yeah, I followed these people around, and I was just like, this is a mistake. This is a huge mistake. This is an absolutely huge mistake. And I'm on the phone with my mom telling her, fuck this, I don't think I can do this. So I get to the end of the line, and I'm like, okay, it's bad enough that I'm going to be in line for, hours now, but to be in line with a bunch of girls who are obsessing over how cute Maddie's hair looks and all that just makes me sick. It literally like made me sick. And so I finally get to the end of the line, which is again across the street from City Hall, and I'm watching some couple just got married and guys taking their photos and all that. So I'm like smiling. But the girls in front of me were just like, and so line starts behind me, and like it picks up and all that, and I'm standing there for about 12 to 15 minutes, and I'm like, I can't do this. And I have a panic attack, and I realize that I cannot stand in line any longer. So I look online and I see, hey, maybe the Ministry is still playing. The show started at 5:30. That's when, around the time I was looking at, I looked it up right at 5:30. Show had sold out, so no, I was going to that. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm just gonna go home. So I looked up, and sure enough, I found a bus, a Greyhound home early, and so I'm standing there, and after about 15 minutes, I'm just looking at this whole huge line, and I'm looking at like at least maybe 100 people line up behind me, maybe 200 people line up behind me, and I'm saying, and I just said, you know what, I fucking can't do this. And so I ran out of the line, and I ran across the street when I saw the crosswalk go, and I just looked at them and I just said, and it was then that I realized that I'm old. I am old. Because I wouldn't, if I were young, I'd have stood in line. I would have, and if I had been smart, if I hadn't been old, I would have gotten it up at 6 o'clock in the morning, or gotten on the 6 o'clock bus and stood in line all day, like all those people had been. A lot of those people had been standing in line there till all day. They'd probably skip school to go, So it's hard to explain what happens when I have an anxiety attack. It's that feeling of like, okay, I'm gonna get crushed. And another Big thing is I didn't have my my earplugs, and it was going to get loud. You think about about 4,000, 2,000 20-year-old girls screaming at the top of their lungs. It's going to get loud. So I said, you know what? I can't do this. Otherwise, I will hurt someone. You know, I mean, probably myself. You know, hurt myself before anyone else. But so yeah, I don't know who to be mad at, myself or the fan base. I think the fan base is pretty nauseating. But then again, a lot of fan bases are like that. These guys aren't the Beatles. But it felt like Beatlemania looking at how long the line were. Yeah, I'm a little. So anyway, I basically I got out of line. I started walking. I called my parents, called my brother. I needed someone to talk to, and they helped me out, and they calmed me down. And I was freaking out and crying, and I ended up walking all the way from Civic Center to Amoeba on Haight Street. Spent the last bit of my money on some CDs and records. Then took a lift to the Greyhound station and went home. Meanwhile, while I'm on the bus, everybody's screaming their heads off to love me and two time and all that. And just like, I was just sitting on the bus watching a Stephen King movie that I downloaded on YouTube. And it was then, I realized I'm old. I can't do this anymore. I mean, a lot of my concerts, again, I go to Joe Jackson. Last year I went to see Ministry. I went to see a band called Bob Moses, St. Lucia, Rye. A lot of youngish band people my age listen to. And yeah, a decent time. So I don't know what I could have done to prevent it, except for just wake up at the crack of dawn, or just live in San Francisco and just camp out there like this is Black Friday or something like that, So yeah, basically I can't listen to them right now. And in fact, last night I decided to torture myself by looking up, if anybody caught any footage from last week's concert. Sure enough, they did. I watched a little bit of Love It If We Made It, and Maddie's like addressing the audience as "you lot," like so British, and you can hear girls screaming everywhere. And the synth comes on, the and the whole audience it sounds like just the whole audience just screams their fucking heads off. And then when they start singing, when Matt starts singing, you can't hear him over the whole audience singing the song. And there's something very Hitleristic about it. Now, am I comparing the 1975 to Hitler? No, I'm comparing his fan base to his followers. Just yikes, Anyway, I realized that I've never hated young people so much than standing in line. I'm just looking at all these people and just hating every last one of them. So, yeah, I'm old. I hate young people, and I mean, not everybody young is. There's plenty of exceptions to the rule, but everybody who went to that concert can go suck it. Sorry. Now, I have a friend, Olaf, who I found out the week before really likes the 1975. If he had been there with me, I'd have stayed. If the two of us had gone there, I'd just totally stand in line, because he would have helped me feel better. He'd have helped me calm down, and we'd have told jokes. He's one of the funniest dudes I know, and so, and he's in his like 40s or something like that, and so we'd be the oldest dudes there, and it'd be like, yes, it would make sense. The universe would make so much more sense. But I was going alone, you know, so who the fuck am I gonna meet at a 1975 concert? So, anyway, so yeah, I haven't been able to listen to any of their music since last week. And it's a shame because, again, they're very talented dudes, and again, I probably, you know, when their new album comes out, I'll pick it up. But for the time being, I'm taking a break from the 1975 because their fan base just sucks. And if you're watching this and you're one of those people, then you are the problem. You know, just saying. Sorry. Feel free to dislike this video or, you know, bash me, but I'm sorry, but, you know, you gotta let old people in. You gotta let old people like me in. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I've been kind of rambling for a bit now, but, you know, as I knew I would. So, anyway, I've been meaning to do this for a while now. Better late than never. Better Nate than Lever. And, yeah, so anyway, thanks for watching. Yeah, I like to do these vlogs every once in a while and talk about how I'm feeling about certain things. Anxiety sucks. Young people suck. Being old and anxious really sucks. But Amoeba music doesn't suck. I got some great stuff which I wish I could show you, but I put them all on my shelf and stuff like that. Just a bunch of CDs. I actually bought stuff for my brother. I bought a CD from my dad, whose birthday was last Monday, the same day as the concert. I bought my Super Crush a DVD, and I hope she's not watching this right now, but we'll see. And yeah, and I bought myself just a couple CDs, and so it was a good day. I got to spend my money on the people I love, you know. So anyway, yeah, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. Don't go to a 1975 concert if you're over the age of 21, because you're not gonna like it. Especially if you're if you're over the age of 25, I would say you're too old for the 1975. So, yeah. If you ever come to Sacramento, though, we'll see. Obviously, Sacramento's a bit of an easier trek. Of course, they'll never go to Sacramento because who the fuck comes to Sacramento, California? Seriously. And you know what's the weird thing is? They're all older than me. Matt Healy, the singer, is actually turning 30 in October, I think. So he's actually older than me. So I'm like, that's a trip. I feel bad for him, though, having such, you know, young fans, you know. But I'm your age, Matt. I'm right there with you, man. I'm close enough, you know. So anyway, 1975 music is awesome. Fan base sucks, and all that shit. And yeah, they can go suck it. So that's all I got to say. Thanks for watching, and yeah, thanks again.